Hi, I'm Loren Roosendaal, and in this episode of Transformed, we're going to be looking at motivation. Now, motivation is sort of the bread and butter of learning. If you don't have that one covered, you're not going to get far. If you don't have motivation handled, people may not show up to your lecture, or if they do, they very soon after will be leaving in droves. When I look at motivation and the way we deal with it in the world around us, I see a lot of really bad practices going on. I think this already starts just by sending your kid to primary school. I say, send your kid to primary school and you'll see exactly how badly we deal with motivation. So let's say, Johnny goes off to primary school and in his third year, he gets math for the first time. And he comes home with his report chart and it's an 8 out of 10 at the end of the year. Oh, and he's excited and, you kind of get the scene, right? That's it. Good job. Here's $10 from grandma. Let's go buy you something nice, right? Everyone's happy. And then we fast forward another year and now it's the end of year 4 and he comes home with his report chart and this time it's a 6 out of 10. Oh, that's not good. That's not what we need. I mean, we know what this sequence of numbers ends up at, right? It's 8, 6, 4. He's going to maybe get stuck in 5th grade this way. This is not the way it's supposed to be. No $10 from grandma. You're going to have to learn harder. And the funny thing is, as bad as Johnny might be at math at that point, there's one thing he really understands well by grade 4, which is that a 6 is significantly less than an 8. And so what have we really taught Johnny? Well, it's really simple. That by spending another year crunching on math, he actually got worse at math. Now, we sometimes do this in the video game industry, usually by accident, where we take away people's points or stars or score or coins, and the most miraculous thing happens. People just flat out quit playing, a studio goes bankrupt, and we never do that anymore. But in real life, education is mandatory, which is why you can get away with the world's worst design. Had this been a video game, Johnny wouldn't have gotten a 6, he wouldn't have gotten an 8. No, 8 plus 6 is 14. We'd have said, Johnny, congratulations, you're now at level 14. And the teachers would have gone out of their mind because they're like, no, Loren, you can't do that. Johnny needs to be at least at level 16 at the end of 4th grade. And I tell these people, but that's very easy. We just tell him that if by the end of the vacation, he's at level 16, we're going to give him a nice golden star. Because we realized in video games a long, long time ago that the carrot works a heck of a lot better than the stick. And this is something we need to learn. Whether you're in education or whether you're in corporate learning, it's something you're going to need to apply if you want to keep your people motivated. If you're still grading people on a 10-point grading level, if you're not showing incremental improvement through time on a skill set, you're doing a horrible disservice to the people that you're teaching. You're essentially confusing them, even if it's on a subconscious level, as to their progress and improvement. So it's super, super important to really reach out for ways to have people feel continuously rewarded and have them feel the continued improvement that they're going through. And that really is the core of motivation. If you have motivation down pat, you can have people show up for your classes or show up on your online learning system with a big smile on their face, ready to get learning, ready to feel like they've accomplished something, like they've gotten better. And if you then can honor all 4 of the learning principles, including this motivation, you can really get people learning in a super effective manner. Now, just knowing the 4 principles of learning, of course, on its own isn't enough. Because when you think of these principles, you might already have lots of ideas like, oh, I need to change this approach. I need to change that approach. I need to do this somewhat differently, and then everything will suddenly work. But before we go there, in the next episode, we're going to take a close look at what we're actually teaching people. Because if we're not teaching people the right things that they need to know in this day and age, and if we're not thinking critically about what is and what is not actually important for people to know, then we might end up wasting a lot of our time on something that has absolutely minimal impact. So if you want to see what the right topics are that you can tackle to help people get better results faster, join us in the next episode and be sure to like or subscribe to follow this channel.